Welcome. I am Chef Gary Danko, and I'm going to make one of my favorite dishes today, which is a duck and potato hash. And this is a great dish. You can use it to serve on top of, underneath poached eggs, or at the restaurant we serve this with the breast, which has been pan-fried to medium rare, and then sliced and then fanned around it. So this is a really delicious accompaniment. So in order to do this, you need to start with some basic ingredients here. Today I've chosen to use some russet potatoes, and these are basically just cooked until tender, and then we let them cool down. And then I'm going to dice it. I'm going to peel it. It's very easy. You just kind of rub the skin off of this, and then you dice it into cubes like this big. It can be whatever size you'd like, depending on the amount of texture and the size of the chunk of the potato. So we're just going to dice that. And then I've prepared separately some duck confit. Now, duck confit basically is a duck that has been salted lightly, allowed to cure overnight, and then it is cooked in its own fat. And it is cooked until it is very, very tender. This is not deep frying duck. This is just very slowly like stewing it in its own fat. So the result is a really beautiful duck leg here. And so what we're going to do is just clean it. And I'm going to just take the skin off right here. And so you want to make a little pile. You can actually fry this skin and it will be a nice little crackling. So as the meat comes off, you want to put the meat and let it fall into your bowl. You want to remove the bone. And remember, there's a piece of cartilage right here that you want to get in there. Otherwise, it's very chewy. And so then you just want to flake it out like this. Again, make sure there's no bones. So cleaned, you have about probably 15 ounces of meat here. And you want to basically shred this. You want to just pull it apart. And remember, you're going to be mixing a little more, so you don't want to shred it too fine. It's important for the texture of this dish that you have some chunky duck as well as some chunky potatoes. So, okay, and so to season that, we're going to add to 3 duck legs and basically 2 potatoes. We're going to add 3 to 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to add a little bit of parsley. Just gives it a nice clean flavor. And then we have onions here. With the onions, basically what I've done is taken them and really just put them over the heat, and I've sauteed them. And all I want to do is sweeten these onions and take the raw flavor off of it. So these have been cooled. We're just going to put this in here. I put a little bit of thyme in there. I'm just going to leave that in the pan. It's given its flavor already, so it's done its duty. All right, and then we're going to add basically some black pepper. If you like, you can use the mill. Actually, it gives you a better texture pepper. We have a little pinch of cayenne pepper. And then we're going to mix this. And I'm going to use my hands. And you want to just kind of knead it together. What you're trying to find is basically a nice malleable paste that you can shape into a cake. So it's going to, you can see it's going to form, but I'm just going to mix it a little. We're going to take these little ring molds, and these can be any size. I've just chose the small ones today. If you don't have those, you can use like an open tin tuna can open on both ends. And it just helps you give a nice uniform cake. And then you just pop the rings off, and then basically you have your little cakes. So at this point, you can put them in the refrigerator, cover them until you're ready to use them. So important with this is that when you fry them, you get a very nice golden brown crust on them. And that's very important because it adds that difference in texture and actually changes the flavor on the crust. So the crust is very caramelized and very crispy. And on the inside, you have a very creamy duck, and then the potatoes. So to me, this dish is heaven. And again, if I wanted just to put a fried egg on top of this, a little bit of hollandaise, it would make a perfect little brunch or breakfast. So, okay, so basically at this point, you want to just start looking at the edge, and when that starts to become golden, you want to just flip it over and then crisp up the other side. Because this is already cooked, you don't have to worry about it. You're just really heating it through. So we're just going to flip these. I see a nice crust forming. And they smell delicious. So one of my favorite combinations is just duck fat with potatoes. And if you ever want to make some delicious home fries, and you happen to have duck fat sitting around, which duck fat does keep for quite a few months in your refrigerator. So you would simply do the same thing, just fry them in this, a little bit of salt. Okay, so these look good. We're gonna just serve them up. Okay, so here you have it, duck and potato hash cake made with russet potatoes. So bon appetit, enjoy.